So when I think about what death means to me, I really think about sometimes how we always try and cover up the grieving that we're feeling and the sadness that we're feeling. And I went to this conference earlier this year called a Death Cafe, and we talked about how it's okay to be sad and it's okay to grieve. And when you think about death, it's not always sad. So I also tried to think about how death is an everyday occurrence, and that's kind of what death means to me. It happens every day, but it's not always sad. It's something that maybe you can think about and try and put a positive spin on instead of always thinking about the sad things. So I've talked about this at the Death Cafe I went to, and I talked about how, to me, death means remembering the person and kind of celebrating them how they would like to be remembered. So I went to a funeral a couple years ago, and I talked with my boss after the funeral, and we talked about her wishes for her funeral, and she said, I don't want it to be sad. I want it to be happy. I want everyone to have the black umbrellas and do it like they do in New Orleans with good food, good alcohol, and good music. So when I think about death, I always remember that conversation I had with her, because we went to the funeral and we cried and we cried and we cried, and we all cried together. But after that funeral, she said to me, I want my funeral to be happy. Please be happy when I die. Don't be upset and don't cry for me. Remember all the things I did and celebrate that. So when I think about death, I'm really thinking about celebrating and remembering, and not necessarily sad things like the videos we watched in class. I always think about remembering and being happy. So death kind of sometimes is bittersweet, and if it's sudden or if it's expected, it'll always be that way. But when I think about it, I try and think about positive things.